Have you ever looked up at a stormy sky and felt a primal power? A story unfolding in the clash of clouds and lightning. Today, we're diving deep into one such story, a legend that stretches back to the very dawn of the elements. This is the tale of the Thunderbird and the Keeper of Winds, a celestial battle for the soul of the sky. In the beginning, the skies were a vast, open canvas. Ruling this domain was the Thunderbird, a magnificent creature whose feathers were woven from storm clouds and whose eyes held the fire of 1,000 suns. With a flap of its mighty wings, it could summon thunder that shook the mountains. With a blink of its eyes, it could unleash bolts of lightning that danced across the heavens. The Thunderbird was power incarnate, a raw, untamed force of nature. It saw the sky as its kingdom, and its will as the only law. For ages it flew unchallenged, its thunderous cries echoing as the soul anthem of the upper world. But the sky is not a monolith. It is a realm of many moods, of gentle breezes and raging gales. And for every force, there is a counterpart. From the swirling mists of the horizon emerged another ancient spirit, the Keeper of Winds. Unlike the Thunderbird's dramatic, thunderous presence, the Keeper was subtle, formless, and ever-changing. It was the whisper of the morning breeze, the howl of a winter gale, and the silent, guiding current that steered the clouds. The Keeper of Winds believed in flow, in constant movement and change, not in the static, absolute rule the Thunderbird sought to impose. It saw the sky not as a kingdom to be ruled, but as a dynamic system to be balanced. Their first meeting was inevitable, a clash of opposing philosophies written in the language of the sky. The Thunderbird, perched atop the highest peak, saw the Keeper's influence as a challenge to its authority. "This is my domain," it boomed, its voice the rumble of an approaching storm. "The clouds move at my command. The rain falls by my decree." The Keeper of Winds answered, its voice a chorus of 1,000 rustling leaves and whistling canyons. "The sky belongs to no one, Almighty Bird. It is a dance of elements, a harmony of forces. Your power is great, but it is not the only power." This response enraged the Thunderbird. It saw the Keeper's words not as a call for balance, but as an act of defiance. To prove its supremacy, the Thunderbird beat its wings, unleashing a torrent of lightning, intending to sear the Keeper from existence. But the Keeper was not a physical being to be struck down. It dissolved into countless currents of air, swirling around the lightning bolts, redirecting some and absorbing others. It responded not with a direct attack, but by gathering its strength, spinning the air into a powerful vortex. This was the beginning of their great conflict, a war that would tear the sky apart. The Thunderbird as pride and the Keeper as insistence on fluidity created a schism in the very fabric of the atmosphere. The world below, which had long enjoyed the predictable rhythm of the seasons, began to feel the devastating effects of this celestial feud. The sky became a battlefield, and the land an innocent victim. What was once a gentle summer shower guided by the Keeper and energized by the Thunderbird, became a relentless, battering the Thunderbird, in its fury, would unleash chain lightning that didn't just strike once but crawled across the sky for miles, setting forests ablaze and splitting ancient trees. The Keeper, in its attempts to counter and contain the Thunderbird's raw power, would weave massive, spiraling funnels of wind, but its control was slipping under the constant assault. These funnels, meant to be defensive maneuvers, broke free and descended upon the plains as terrifying tornadoes, their roars a mournful echo of the Keeper's own struggle. The balance was broken. Sunny days would abruptly turn to black. Violent storms. Gentle breezes would escalate into destructive gales without warning. The natural cycle of weather, the very heartbeat of the world, became erratic and hostile. The land suffered. Crops were flattened by hail the size of fists, and rivers, once life-giving, overflowed their banks, flooding valleys and villages. The people and animals of the land looked to the sky not with reverence, but with fear. The spirits they once honored had turned against each other, and their conflict threatened to unravel creation itself. The harmony that had existed for millennia was replaced by chaos, a constant, terrifying symphony of thunder and wind. Down on the earth, there was a tribe that lived in the shadow of the Thunderbird's mountain. They were the Sky Watchers, and for generations, they had served as intermediaries between the spirits of the sky and the people of the land. Among them was a young woman named Ilara. She was not a warrior or a chieftain, but a guardian in training, gifted with a rare sensitivity. She could feel the pain of the earth as if it were her own, and she could hear the discordant cries of the spirits in the raging storm. While others ran for cover, Ilara would stand at the edge of her village, her face turned to the violent sky, trying to understand the source of its rage. Her elders spoke of the ancient pacts, of a time when the Thunderbird's strength and the Keeper's wisdom worked in concert. They told her that the spirits were not evil, but imbalanced, driven by the suffering of her people and a deep-seated sense of duty. Ilara knew she had to do something. She resolved to ascend the sacred mountain, a perilous journey no one had attempted in generations, to speak to the Thunderbird directly and remind it of its true purpose. The climb was an ordeal in itself. The mountain paths, once familiar, were now treacherous, washed out by flash floods and blocked by fallen trees struck by lightning. The winds, whipped into a frenzy by the Keeper, tried to tear her from the rock face. It was as if the spirit's conflict was actively trying to prevent her from intervening. But Ilara persisted. She didn't fight the elements. She moved with them. When the wind howled, she found shelter in the lee of a boulder. When the rain fell, she used it to quench her thirst. She was not conquering the mountain. She was harmonizing with it, showing the very balance she hoped to restore. After days of climbing, she reached the summit. There, amidst a swirling vortex of storm clouds, sat the Thunderbird. It was a terrifying sight. Its feathers crackled with raw energy, and its eyes burned with unchecked power and fury. It barely noticed a small human figure before it. "Great Thunder," Ilara shouted, her voice nearly lost in the thunder. The great bird turned its fiery gaze upon her. "Why do you wage this war? The land suffers. Your strength, which once protected us, now destroys us." The Thunderbird let out a cry that shook the very peak. "The Keeper of Winds defies me. It seeks to sap my strength, to diminish my power. I am the sky. I am the storm." Elara stood her ground, her heart pounding but her resolve firm. "Power without wisdom is just chaos," she said, her voice clear and true. "You have the power of the lightning, but the Keeper has the wisdom of the currents. One cannot exist without the other. Your strength is meant to give life, to charge the rains that the Keeper guides to the thirsty earth. The Keeper's winds are meant to temper your fire, to spread your gift across the world, not to fight it." She pointed down at the ravaged landscape below. "Look, is this the kingdom you wish to rule? A land of fire and flood, a realm of fear. Your conflict has created nothing but destruction. True strength is not in dominance, but in balance." Her words, simple and honest, pierced through the Thunderbird's haze of pride and anger. It was a truth it had forgotten in its long, solitary reign. It looked down, truly looked, and saw the devastation its war had wrought. It saw the scorched forests and flooded plains. It felt the fear rising from the world below like a toxic smoke. For the first time in an age, the Great Spirit felt something other than rage. It felt regret. The storm around it began to quiet, the lightning softening. As the Thunderbird's fury subsided, the chaotic winds also began to calm. The Keeper of Winds, feeling the shift, cautiously approached. It manifested not as a gale, but as a gentle, shimmering current of air that spiraled around the peak. It didn't speak, but its presence was a question. The Thunderbird looked at the Keeper, and for the first time, it didn't see a rival. It saw a necessary counterpart. It lowered its head in a gesture of acknowledgement, a silent apology. "Wisdom," it rumbled, the sound now a low, resonant sender. Not a declaration of war. Elara watched as the two great spirits found a new understanding. The Thunderbird learned that its incredible power was aimless and destructive without the Keeper's wisdom to guide it. Its strength needed direction, a purpose beyond mere assertion. The Keeper, in turn, recognized that its gentle guidance needed the Thunderbird's energy to be truly effective. The breeze needs the storm to bring forth life-giving rain. As peace settled between them, the sky began to heal. The dark, angry clouds parted, allowing soft sunlight to filter through. The tornadoes dissipated back into harmless currents, and the frantic lightning ceased. A gentle, steady rain began to fall on the parched earth below her. Perfect collaboration between the Thunderbird's energy and the Keeper's guidance. The winds became calm, carrying the scent of wet earth and renewed life. A magnificent rainbow, brighter than any seen before, stretched across the sky, a vibrant bridge between the two spirits, a symbol of their restored pact. Elara descended the mountain not to a world of fear, but to one of hope. The skies were once again a source of life and wonder. The people learned from her story that true power lies not in singular might, but in harmonious partnership. The Thunderbird still commanded the thunder, and the Keeper still guided the winds, but now they worked together. The storm was no longer a war, but a dance. And in that dance, the world found its balance once more. This ancient story reminds us that in nature and in our own lives, conflict between opposing forces is inevitable. But it's through finding balance, through understanding that strength needs wisdom and power needs purpose, that we find true harmony. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the heart of the storm. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to be notified of our next dive into the world of myth and legend. See you next time.